Okay, so anytime you want to make origami and you don't have origami paper, you can create your own square paper by taking an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and folding it down and cutting off the excess. So that's what I did here. So that's why you see this crease here. So normally origami paper doesn't have the crease. So anyway, we're going to ignore the crease for now. And we're going to, first step would be to make a rectangle. So we're going to go ahead and fold this down. Make a nice even rectangle. It's very important to keep the corners perfect. As I said before, origami is a work of art. It is to be done carefully and precisely. Okay, so we have a rectangle. The second step would be to take the right corner of your rectangle and fold it down to where the right corner touches the center of the bottom line. That's step 2. You have to be careful, again, to make sure you get the center. And the way I'll know I have the center is if my edge here is perfect. So I'm going to make sure I press that down evenly. Okay? So this is all still step 2. The second part of step 2 would be to take the left corner. Now I don't want to bring it up here. I want to take it to the back of this. Take it to the back and fold it to the midpoint of the base of this triangle. Okay, so right now we have a nice isosceles triangle. One of them opens in the front and opens in the back. Okay, now this is a basic step that goes with almost all origami shapes. If you can do this, you can at least start almost all shapes. So now if you notice and you pick up the paper, it has an opening on the inside. Let's go ahead and stick our fingers in there and pull it apart. And when I pull it as much as I can, notice that those two corners are trying to touch each other. Let's go ahead and let them. Okay? Let me do that again. You go into the inside opening, pull it together, and let those two corners get together. You're making a perfect square. Hope that was okay. So I'm being as precise as I can. I just made a square. Now check to make sure your square, when you pick it up, it looks something like this. Now we're going to call this the top because it's closed. And we're going to call this the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I keep my edges crisp. Now I'm going to take the corners of this square and bring them into this center line. So do this with the top. Bring it all the way in. The edge of that triangle should go to the center line. Okay. Crisp. Do the same thing on the left side. Notice I'm keeping the top part. I'm leaving that alone. This is very important. The top has to be closed. Okay. Now, the next step to turn it over and do the same thing. Try to be as careful as you can with lining up the lines. No, let me see. Without the, okay. Okay. Now notice we have this kite shape and we have a triangle at the top. A triangle here at the top. I'm going to fold this triangle over to create a very important crease right here. Fold that down. My goal is to create a crease, a good strong crease. This is very thick paper. Typically origami paper is much thinner, easier to manipulate and create creases. So it's very important for me to spend some time on here to make that crease nice and strong. Okay, I did it one way and then I folded it the other way. Now I'm going to go ahead and open it because I've created my crease. I'm going to open this up too. Now notice this shape you have here. Okay, we're going to use that. Take your finger inside. You have a little mouth here. Just the top, go into the center. Let's pick that up along the crease. This part is always very complicated. Please watch carefully. Pick it up along the crease and refold this triangle on those inner lines. Refold those lines. So I'm going to, instead of folding outward, I'm going to fold that line in. Instead of going out, I'm going to fold that line in. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Now, of course, we're going to do the same thing on the next side. Open it up. Lift up the top flap along that very important crease that you made and refold those inner lines to go the opposite way. So I refolded those lines. I'm going to lean that back. Now my paper is not so perfect here, but I think we'll be all right. Okay, so notice you have this diamond shape, nice and long. One side should be open, like this, and the other part is going to be closed. Okay, so let's go to the open side. This is now the bottom, and this is the top. And let's take this edge of the diamond and fold it in to the middle line. Try to be as neat as you can here, because you're really making the legs of your crane. Okay, I want to fold the edge of this diamond going into the center line. I'm doing the top part of the diamond only. There's a top and a bottom. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. Do the same thing. Okay, notice the creases are very important. And we're nearly finished. You see wings forming and legs. Last step is kind of take it like a book. Like a book. You see, if I put my fingers here, my thumbs there, take it like a book, it'll open. Look like a little lobster. See a little lobster? Okay, let's take this crease and pull that up. Pull that up along the crease. So now, that's no longer a lobster. And close it back. There's a lobster on the other side. Pull it up. Going back over. We're almost there. So you have a shape that looks like this. You got one more step. We're going to take one of these and make it the head. It's a very simple step here. You just take it, bend it down, and just kind of push it out there a little bit. You have a head of the crane. Now this looks like a crane, but in order to make it even more beautiful, we typically pull it out, and there's always a hole here, a little hole here. I like to blow mine up like a balloon. And so put just a little bit of air in there, and you have made one crane.